Namaste. In today's yoga practice, we're going to be working on our upper body, our triceps, our entire core. So let's get started by positioning ourselves in child's pose, extending the hands out, letting the forehead come to the ground if we can, bringing our bum towards our heels. If the forehead doesn't touch the ground, we can always stack both fists and place the forehead on the fists. Beginning to breathe deeply, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. If that's not comfortable, then just breathing at our own pace and the way that we feel comfortable. So we're going to start by coming into a kneeling plank, coming down into crocodile, and then on the exhale, pushing right back to child's pose. Moving forward into a kneeling plank on the inhale, exhaling into crocodile, and then right back into child's pose. Inhaling, kneeling plank, exhaling crocodile, inhaling back up, exhaling back to child's pose. So moving at our own pace, going with our own breath, and at this point, going one breath per movement if we can, doing what our body allows us to do. So when we come into our kneeling plank, shoulders come ahead of the wrists. We lower down where the tops of the arms come in line with our body. We're doing this to warm up our triceps, our shoulders, our entire upper core before we get into something a little bit deeper. Inhaling again, kneeling plank, exhaling crocodile, inhaling up, exhaling back to child's pose. Remembering that at any time, if we need to rest, we can just stay in child's pose at any time at all during our practice. Let's give our shoulders a break, bringing the arms behind us, letting the forehead drop to the ground if we can. Otherwise, we can place the forehead on pillows or blocks at this point. Coming up onto our knees, we're going to be moving into a kneeling side plank to bridge to gate pose. Starting by extending the leg, pressing the right foot into the short edge of the mat, rotating our body and lifting the right arm up towards the sky. We can make a fist or place fingertips or full hand to the ground for our side plank. And then on the inhale, reaching the right arm behind the leg, arm up towards the sky, and then right back to our side plank. We can come into an extended side plank by reaching the arm over the head. So we're breathing on the exhale, coming into our side plank, and then inhaling, coming up into our gate pose. When we come into gate pose, we're first lifting up through the core, extending the spine, and then a slight tilt over in our spine. So we always want to make sure that we're extending upwards first before creating that curvature in the spine. Again, here we can move one breath per movement. Closing the eyes will allow us to stay a little bit more focused, but if we don't find that we have the balance, we can always keep the eyes open, no problem at all. So coming back onto our knees and switching sides, so this time left foot planted into the mat, toes pointing forward, and we're pressing to the outer part of that foot into the mat. The right fist or fingertips or full hand to the mat, and we come into our side plank. Again, the extended arm over top is an option. We can always bring the arm to the hip or lift the arm all the way up to the sky. On the inhale, we're coming into our gate pose, and exhaling right back down to our kneeling side plank. In this pose, we want to make sure that we're pushing forward through the hips, so we don't want the bum pointing backwards. We have a nice straight line reaching from our shin all the way up the side body, all the way up to our head. So nice long line when we're in side plank. And again, flowing with our breath, taking our time, enjoying these few minutes that we have for ourselves. It doesn't take long, even just these 5 to 7 minutes that we're taking here is a little bit of time that we're taking for ourselves. We're coming back onto our knees. We're going to be moving into a full plank. So let's bring one foot back and then the next. We're pushing through the heels. Nice long line from the heels all the way up to the head. And we're going to come into a full side plank if possible. We can always make a fist with the hand here if we need to. And then coming down, we can add a push-up if we want. Coming back up, and then we're coming into a full side plank on the other side. Now there's all sorts of options for our foot here. The foot can come behind the leg, stacked over the leg, or brought to the front of the leg, whatever we find most comfortable. We all lose our balance at one time or another. So really making this our own practice. If we're choosing to do the push up, don't worry about coming down too far, only as far as you can. So we also have a modified version of this where we come into a kneeling side plank, kneeling crocodile, or push up, whatever you want to call it, and then the kneeling side plank on the other side. So we're going to end this session coming into child's pose. We're nearing the end, giving our shoulders a rest here as we grab onto the feet behind us. Taking a few breaths, just coming back to our normal breath now. Crossing the feet at the ankles and just sitting down. Feel free to face me, but at this point I will sit where you can see. Interlacing the fingers or pretending that we're holding on to a large beach ball, but we're pressing the shoulder blades back and down, and we're creating that nice stretch in the pectorals and the shoulders, the parts of our body that we've just worked out pretty hard. So breathing through this, breathing very deeply. Releasing the clasp. And we're going to interlace the fingers and press the palms forward, again creating that nice stretch in the shoulders and back this time, and in our hands. And we can create circles with the hands in one direction and then the next, bringing the hands to our knees, closing the eyes, giving a little bit of gratitude. Namaste. Have a fantastic day.